we've seen injuries in the NFL. There's a lot of people that are pointing to unfortunate or unlucky injuries when it comes to the playing surface in the National Football League. Now you got Aaron Rodgers chiming in. Pete Carroll's bitching about the turf in Germany. So what is the solution here? What are we doing? Are they going to just go ahead and everybody goes to straight all grass field? Is this just going to be what it is because they can roll?
But then there'd be the strands of grass or the soil underneath it. It's not fit for safe conditions to play on. You just gotta take it surface by surface. I think you got to have a surface expert there. You have to have a cleat expert there. Because you got to throw cleats in there as well. Socks. You got to throw socks in there.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to have a sock expert available.
By the way, do they put sand on underneath some of these fields?
Yes.
Okay, because it looked like there was sand Monday night in Philadelphia. Like when they were playing, it looked.
By the way, did I tell you guys? I thought when I was watching that game, it looked like there was sand underneath the field.
That's a great call.
Hey, Q, when I was watching the game, I was thinking to myself, I was like, let me hit Jonas and Q up. I think there's sand on this field. Yeah. I think I saw sand on the field.
Really? I didn't see that at all. That's crazy.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Not really sure.
Hey, Berto, did I tell you that it seemed like there was sand on the field when we were watching that Eagles game?
Yeah,
Monday night?
I got your sand right here.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
You didn't want the sand.
So what's the solution here? Because everybody's complaining about it. Everybody's got a problem with this all of a sudden. It's like the hot button topic in the – I heard that. It's like
that just hit you?
It's the hot button topic in the NFL now. So what is the solution here? What are we going to do?
What is the solution?
I mean, do you want to play in concrete? Just go back to the old AstroTurf? You want to turn it into like the old vet in Philadelphia? Let's do that. Why not?
No, I think as far as the international games go, and when we went over to Wembley in 2010 when I was with Denver, you definitely noticed it's just different. It's softer. It got torn up quickly. It didn't matter if it was the cricket fields we practiced on or even the the Wembley Stadium field. It was almost like there was a dew. It was wet. It was slick. It was just part of it, and you had to put on deeper cleats in order to play, in order to feel like you had better.
You remember those, Q?
Yeah.
You remember the detachables? You take the little ones out. They pull like you were in NASCAR, like zit, 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 zit.
It looked like you were almost aerating the field.
Isn't that
crazy? You ever see those shoes people walk their yard around? They're like aerating their yard as they walk.
I had some of my dopest games in them long-ass detachables. Some of my best games.
Were those 3/4 inches?
Bro, they were they were like as long as a finger,
they could be
man.
An inch, dude.
They were long, and I'm telling you, I was out of there. My cuts were crisp. My moves was crisp. Out of there. It felt weird on straightaway runs. But the cuts, making cuts was crazy. but straightaway running, it felt like I could feel it a little bit, But, yeah, man.
No, so you're not going to change, especially if it's a grass surface. You're not going to be able to change and make it consistent over there. I mean, you're not. You've got different countries, different soil, all that stuff. It's like that to a degree in the NFL. And I know we want to sit here and it seems like we're complaining about whatever the surface is nowadays, right? Like unless it's some sort of perfect grass, dry. I mean, everyone's complaining about it. The reality is you got to pick and choose your battles. This is not one that I feel like is worth complaining about. Both teams had to deal with it. If it was unsafe, it was only unsafe in the respect that it had to be a little slick, or maybe the turf came up somewhat. Not sure what you're going to do about that. I'm not sure how that's going to change as you try to make the turf more sturdy. I mean, this is something that professional soccer players play on over there. That's not as big of a concern, I think, at least not for the NFLPA, as the slit filled turf that you see in certain stadiums like MetLife, for example. That seems to be a much bigger issue in regards to player safety right now than anything else.
So what is that surface? The slit film, what is the difference between that and something you would see in another place that doesn't have natural grass? What are the options available for them to do here?
Yeah, it's just the type of infill that's a part of that turf. And I don't know the specifics of it. I mean, obviously, field turf tends to vary depending on the type of softness, the type of blades, the type of fill. I've been on some usually when you're out there, and most people can relate to this. Those fields now, you have the black crushed up rubber, right? Like old tires, old shoes they take, they're crushed up rubber. It's annoying though. You walk on that stuff, then you leave, you got crap all over your shoes, it's in your socks, all that stuff.
Doesn't that get in your eyes too if you get tackled?
Oh yeah,
sure.
And your mouth, all that.
Mouth, oh yeah. Yeah. Tasting rubber.
Sometimes guys have had to come off the field because of the amount of rubber they've gotten in their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but there's some now that are like cork. Literally, I've been on some. It's cork infield.
Really?
Yeah, and the dumbest part is outside of maintenance of the actual grass, they still got to water it because the cork has to actually be hydrated to a degree.
You guys remember that one game where the turf came up in the field, the grounds guy
ripped.
came running onto the field?
Yeah.
Did you see how much rubber he put into that?
Yeah.
It was just he was filling the gaps with straight rubber pieces, and I think it's old tire or something like that, right? It's old tire,
old shoes, all that kind of stuff.
And I mean, he had the big ass bucket and would just pour a whole bunch down, pat it down, pour a whole bunch down, pat it on down. I don't know. It's interesting because I'll be honest with you. Growing up, a cool playing surface, you just wanted a surface that wasn't muddy. You come out of the locker room, okay, there's grass on 100 yards of this field. Let's go. Growing up. And it's kind of now you get to a point of where I started asking myself the question. I'm I saw a couple players complaining about it, coming out and saying, they deserve to play in a safe, playing surface and stuff like that. And I get it. Nobody wants to have an injury that's unnecessary that could – end your career or shorten it. I get all that. I get trying to protect players, but I it still kind of comes back to the conversation with me. Cats is just getting soft as hell to me, man. I mean, I'm just being honest. Bro, we used to play tackle during the week. We would get tackle games before school on concrete.
Yeah.
And it wasn't two-hand tag. It was. We were playing tackle football on concrete.
Yeah, they didn't do that in Ohio, let me tell you that.
I just,
Where we came from, they did.
I'm not trying to say old timer. Old timer talk is a turnoff too. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I got to stop myself because it's man, I sound like an old timer. But at some point, let's be clear here. You're playing football. You're playing football. Put your uniform on. They always tell you, go check the playing surface before the game starts. So do you need nubs, little balls? Do you need flat bottoms? Do you need regular cleats? Are you wearing turfs? Whatever it is, go check the playing surface out. That should be the last thing on your mind once you're going into playing the game. And so for me, I don't know. I just think that the priorities list has been shuffled. It has been moved. It's been rearranged. And if you're asking me, it goes towards the softer side of the spectrum, not towards the badass side. And maybe it's not cool to be a badass anymore. I don't know. But I'm just saying, go frickin' play football. And I'm not saying it in a way just dribble the ball, don't have any opinions or anything the whole political side of just dribble the ball type action. I'm not saying that. But I am saying at some point you do know you're a professional playing a child's game. You do know that. It's a child's game that you're now an adult and you get to make money, a king's ransom, playing a child's game. Let's keep it in perspective. You know what I mean? Dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, and didn't they do some research where they said they compared injuries to that sort of surface and natural grass, and they were pretty much equal. So
they did, but this particular field turf field with this filling actually has the most, though, if you differentiate from the other field turf fields. So there was a point early in the season where grass actually had more ACL injuries. But when they compared, at least just over the past few years, the data and research has come back that this particular field is more dangerous. So, look, I don't know where this goes from here. Probably nowhere, because the NFLPA always picks the dumbest times to try to negotiate something. Because, once the deal's done, the deal's done.
What do you mean? It's coming out. Aren't they due for a new agreement in like a couple of months
they've got like another 10 or 9 years left on this one. So unless they're willing to strike because of the field conditions, nothing's going to change. The owners aren't going to want to invest and change it. I've said this before. If you have a grass field, you kind of can't win because you can only really host sport events there, and that's it. When you look at some of these other stadiums, they have all sorts of other events.
And there's
concerts,
the reasons. Yeah, there's the
graduations and stuff, other games that they play on it.
Monster
they have
trucks.
so much stuff running through there that you couldn't do that having a grass surface and be able to maintain the grass to a degree where you could play on it.
Yeah,
so
true.
a lot of these stadiums or these owners are like, I'm not wasting the money to invest more into this every single year, and it's going to limit how much I can make from it when we're not playing football games. And unfortunately, it's not a priority for the NFLPA to ever negotiate this when they're in a CBA. They just complain about it after the fact, which is probably what bothers me the most about this is let's just go out and send a bunch of tweets with hashtags because that's going to solve something. Seriously. And by the way, furthermore, for our society, that doesn't solve anything either, okay?
True.
Just because you want to send out a tweet with a hashtag, that's not solving anyone's problems. Go actually out and make some change in this world. God.
Hashtag that.
Yeah, hashtag that. Hashtag these.
Cancel culture. Cancel culture. We're adding turf fields to it.
Hey,
we're canceling
hashtag
turf.
these.
Yeah.
With a Z. And by the way, go ahead and strike to get new fields. I'll show you how soft y'all really are. I'll show you how soft y'all really are. Because let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of dudes training.
A lot of dudes.
Working out.
Countless dudes.
Sitting on couches. Talking to their cousins. Talking to their friends. Brothers, sisters, dads, moms, uncles, aunts, grandparents, nanas, you name it. I just need a chance. I just need a chance. And I can guarantee you they're not worrying about the surface of a field.
Yeah.
Guarantee you.